Good evening, Board, Dr. Kimberly, and other guests. Tonight we're going to be reviewing our foster youth services. This is a follow-up part 2 to our May board meeting. My name is Felipe Flores. I'm the program specialist. I oversee mental health supports here in the district. Our part 2 presentation will begin with a review of our MSW intern program as well as our foster youth supports. This will be presented by Christine Dennis, LCSW. In our last presentation in May, we reviewed our tier level supports. We're going to do that again tonight, just as a frame of reference. Our mental health team is a tier 3 level support. That's 1 to 5% of special education students receive these intensive level supports. Our secondary prevention, where our interns have helped us out with, is 5 to 15% of our students. Mental health counseling, our foster youth fit into these specialized groups, and we're going to talk about them tonight. At tier 1, our social emotional learning support providers fit in here. We also have our social skill instruction, Boys Town, and other supports that we provide at the whole level. So 80 to 90% of our students receive supports at the tier 1 level. I'm going to turn it over to Christine Dennis. She's going to talk to us about our MSW interns and our foster youth services.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Kimberly. My name is Christine Dennis, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker for the district. My role at Lake Elsinore Unified is to provide support to students in foster care. In addition to working with students, last year I had the benefit of supervising 2 social work interns from local universities. The 2021 school year was the first year that interns worked exclusively with the district's foster youth. The interns are receiving their master's degrees in social work and are required to complete internships as part of their graduate program. Their internship with Lake Elsinore Unified was 16 to 20 hours per week for the entire school year, giving them significant time to build relationships and to support our students. Foster youth are one of our most vulnerable student populations and face many barriers that impact their ability to reach academic achievement. Both interns receive various trainings on trauma, foster youth education laws, and the foster care system to help them understand the needs of foster youth to improve support for our students at Lake Elsinore Unified. The district has between 100 to 120 foster youth at any given time. The added support of 2 social work interns in the 2021 school year helped expand the district's services for our foster youth. The social work interns worked closely with me to provide the same supports that I do to the district. Support was provided through case management, caregiver engagement, student support, and educational support. The interns assisted me in providing case management support by monitoring students that had academic concerns and helped identify any barriers that could be affecting the students' academic performance. Interns also worked with school staff, family, and other stakeholders that have an impact on a student's education and social-emotional well-being. Caregivers received support through check-in phone calls to assess for any needs. Interns helped consult with county social workers and foster family agency workers to advocate for additional services that could be provided to families. During the year, 2 Zoom events were held for caregivers to discuss the opportunities and support that Lake Elsinore Unified has for foster youth. We gathered caregivers' concerns and facilitated conversations between caregivers to support networking. Interns provided Tier 2 support through individual counseling to address the educational and mental health needs of foster youth. Weekly counseling sessions were provided virtually for these students that needed this extra service. Students received check-ins throughout the year as a general level of support. To help students access us, an online check-in form was created and provided to students so that they can request to meet with the district social worker and interns. Interns were able to build connections with foster youth during distance learning through virtual meetings. New students also received virtual check-ins welcoming them to the district and informing them of all the resources available. Interns also showed their care for our students by sending personalized birthday cards in the mail. 27% of the district's foster youth were referred to the district social worker and interns by staff or caregivers to assess for higher levels of support. After completing assessments, over half of the students referred began receiving weekly counseling. The number of students that received counseling accounted for 15% of the district's foster youth. Multiple educational events were held throughout the school year for foster youth. Interns promoted these events by contacting caregivers and students to help sign them up to attend virtual college tours and events offered by the Riverside County Office of Education. Students that attended these events were able to hear presentations from various universities and community colleges in Southern California. Students were able to learn about the resources and opportunities at campuses that were specific to current or former foster youth. To help support students' education, the district has a partnership with Sylvan Learning Center to provide a 6-week tutoring program to foster youth. Interns contacted each caregiver to offer the tutoring opportunity and to sign those up that were interested. Approximately 116 students' caregivers were contacted for tutoring support. Of the 72 students that signed up for the program, 54 were able to attend. Because of the district's partnership with Sylvan Learning Center, 47% of foster youth in Lake Elsinore Unified were able to receive this tutoring support. This service was provided 4 times throughout the school year. The following graph measures the grade level and assessment levels of students that received tutoring. Each point on the graph represents a student that completed a cohort. The gray line identifies the actual grade level of each student while they went through the tutoring program. The blue line represents the grade level that each student tested at for their pre-assessments. The orange line is the grade level that they tested at after completing 6 weeks of tutoring. The comparison of the gray lines and colored lines show a significant difference in their enrolled grade level versus the grade level that they were testing at. The pre-test and post-test demonstrate that students' academic levels increased an average of 0.91 grade level after completing 6 weeks of tutoring with Sylvan. When the school year ended, summer support for foster youth continued. Students and caregivers were still receiving check-ins to address any concerns or resources that they needed. Mental health counseling also continued for the students who were enrolled in a summer school program. Interns provided social engagement opportunities for students in the district. A 5-week social-emotional art series was provided to students of all grades over a virtual platform. Interns also completed an in-person version of this art series for students that were in the extended school year program. Many foster youth in the district benefited from these summer supports. The following is a testimonial from a caregiver of a foster youth that received support and services from one of the interns. Included are also statements from the youth. The student's name and intern's name have been redacted due to confidentiality of foster youth status. Student came to our home in January. She had attended several schools prior to being placed in our home and was 2 to 3 grade levels behind in both math and reading. Student was facing multiple issues which were impeding her academically and behaviorally. Student received support from LEUSD through the Sylvan Partnership for Tutoring, and she received weekly counseling from Intern. Intern was outstanding and a great supporter clear up until her last day of working with student. We both benefited from her professionalism and her genuine concern for students' behavior being corrected and her advancing academically with an understanding. Student expressed that Intern understood her and that she wanted to continue to see her because Intern was helping her stay calm and understand her classwork. Student said that Intern was, quote, the best person ever to work with me.
Thank you, Christine, for sharing that. The last part of that testimonial, that last quote, is really powerful. The best person ever to work with me signifies that the student felt that the MSW intern that provided support was a caring adult that helped them through something. As Josh Shipp said, every kid is one caring adult away from being a success story. We have those opportunities. And with the support of the board, Dr. Kimberly, our school sites, our parents, we're able to provide those supports to our students to ensure that we are able to give them what they need when they need it. So we thank you. We have a part 3 of our presentation coming up. We'll be talking about our SEL, our social emotional learning support providers, in our next presentation. So thank you for your time. We appreciate the opportunity to share the successes that we're making with our students.